friends of comedy all, welcome to Blue Toastmasters Night at the Improv. We have 12 great speakers, presenters for you tonight, but you don't want to hear that much from me. This for me was a priceless moment. I tried to get them to pay, but they wouldn't. So it's priceless. But tonight, I get to introduce a living legend. Well, at least a legend. Tonight, Blue Toastmasters Club has gone to great lengths, or some may have suggested we just scrape the bottom, to bring in your MC. Before I introduce him, there is a formality which I must cover. It is a disclaimer and a warning. Gentlemen, I ask you to pay special attention to your wives and girlfriends. Keep them under control at all times. When they see your MC tonight, they will begin to sweat. Their nipples most likely will begin to tense up. Perhaps become hard, and you know what that means. For you unaccompanied ladies who have no one to restrain you, and I know it's going to be a great challenge to restrain yourself, but I'm asking you, I'm begging you to do these things. Remain seated. Do not grab or touch the MC. If you do, you might be just as shocked as he is. But Blue Toastmasters Club and its officers and the management of the Tempe Improv will not be responsible for anything that happens as a result of your failure to restrain yourselves. Now that I've got this disclaimer shit out of the way, it gives me great pleasure to introduce your MC for the evening. He flew in last night from Brooklyn, and he did... Not even Donald Trump, Comedy Central, or RuPaul's Drag Race could book him. Although I'm not sure they wanted to. But let's bring down the house for the man who is rude, crude, socially unacceptable, and also my brother. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Frankie Fortunato!
Yeah, how you so fooling tonight, huh? Looking good. Okay, all these hot-looking ladies out there. Looking good, looking good. And you guys, I know what you're thinking. Same old thing. One time. Hey,
Hey, mic man back there, what's going on? You changing mics on?
Hey, there we go. He switched over. Okay. Like I said, I know what you guys thinking. You're wondering, how do you do it, Frankie? I used to do this all the time. The women touching you, screaming, throwing your panties at you. I know. It's a hard road to hoe. But you know what they say? Everybody has a cross to bear. And I guess that's mine. I don't know. Anyway, I personally want to thank this hot-looking blonde chick sitting over here in the corner. Carol, that would be Carol Boom Boom. I like to do it in the back seat. Polson over here. She's the one that talked me into coming out here to sunny Arizona. And the first place I like to go when I get here is I go straight over to the Sonic Drive-In, where I hooks up the Vermicelli twins, Vicky and Rosalie Vermicelli. They work at the Sonic, and they got those bodacious tatas. You know what I mean? Tits all over the place. They got the look like 1956 Cadillac bumper bullets, you know what I mean? The tight sweaters, the hot pants, and those high heel roller skates with the spurs. You guys don't know what you're missing, man. It's great out here in the West. If you ain't never done it with a hot chick with spurs on before, you don't know what you're missing. You know what I'm telling you? And ain't nothing like a three-way with the Vermicelli twins in the backseat of 57 Fairlane, Ford Fairlane, hardtop convertible. Anybody ever see one of those? It's a neat car, man. You know, in the back seat, you got a three-way going, and you got Perry Como on the radio singing some love shit to you, you know? And, you know, with the Vermicelli twins, you don't need no damn Viagra. Speaking of which, has you seen them Viagra commercials lately? Oh my God, I love it. Especially the disclaimer. Well, first of all, you know, I never thought that we'd be talking about limp dicks on television. And how with this little blue pill you could get some major wood. But the disclaimer is great. If you have an erection that lasts for more than 4 hours, you need to call your doctor. What the fuck? I ain't calling my goddamn doctor. I'm calling all my friends over. Tell them, come on over, check it out. See what you're missing and bring a lot of chicks with you. Anyway, we need to get this show on the road here because it's tight tonight. We got 12 competitors. And I got a list here. If you want to write these names down, I'm going to give you the order that they're speaking in. Speaker number 1 is going to be Che Dayhill. Speaker number 2 is going to be Colleen Pack. Yeah, she is kind of hot, man. I've been in the back room there with her for about a half an hour. Speaker number 3 is Lex Dominion. Number 4 is Nick Corradino, another Goomba. Yeah, Nicky. Then we got Steve Enterman. I think he's related to the Enterman family, to the big bakery that makes all them donuts and makes you fat. Then there's Dennis Clark, number 6. Another great Goomba, Paul Buonaforte. David Hodash is number 8. Eve Clark, number 9. Kenny Dayhill, I guess that's Che Dayhill's brother. He's number 10. Now, if you were in Japan or in Korea or something like that, number 10 is not a good number. Usually a bad person, they don't like you. You're number 10. And number 11 is Paul Pastori. And bringing up the very rear end of this column is Sofia Cordero. Number 2. Now, I have a little statement that I have been asked to read to you. This is for the judges. And I believe we have about 30 judges. Never been a contest that had that many judges before. Remember that this is a Blue Toastmaster Club event, not a District 3 Toastmasters event. Therefore, colorful language and humor will be used and should not influence your decision in any way. Instead, base it on the judging items as outlined on the judge's form. So now that we got that little bit of shit out of the way, we can get this show on the road. Yeah, let's see. I gotta move some of this stuff here out of the way. What? You mean the timer thing? Oh, Tudor Melville, cell phone hater of the world, the guy that I heard one time at a contest say and hold up this object and said that if you don't turn your cell phones up, he was going to put them in the blender. So if you can't last the evening here without your goddamn cell phone, you got a mental health problem and need to get some counseling. I got cards all over the place here. Speaker number 1, Che Dahill, suppositories and oral history. Suppositories and oral history. Che Dahill, give it up for him. What's going on? Oh, he's going to give me some more time here. Here he comes. Give it up for him.
I have a messed up group of friends. They love to make jokes about suppositories. So do I. However, whenever any of us make a joke about suppositories, being a very inquisitive person, I find myself asking, who invented the suppository? How did someone come up with the idea of sticking an aspirin up their ass? I got tired of asking these questions, so I finally did the research. Like everyone, I started my research on Wikipedia. It turns out I found the one topic that does not exist on Wikipedia. That means everything I'm telling you tonight was me cross-referencing the WebMD discussor forums and a hippie website about the benefits of taking your daily vitamins via the rectum. That means everything I say tonight should be taken with a grain of salt, which is horrible advice for a suppository. It turns out the suppository was invented over 2,000 years ago in Mesopotamia and at the same time in Mesoamerica. That means there were at least 2 individuals who came up with the exact same idea. They both must have saw a pine cone and went, hey, I wonder what happens when I shove this up my ass. They woke up the next day and their hemorrhoids were gone. Now, that was only the beginning. It could not have ended there. Those 2 individuals then had to have the balls to go and tell other people what they did. I am convinced there could have only been 3 reactions. The first one, what the fuck did you do with the pine cone? The second one, yeah, I'd try that. And the third one being the inquisitive people like me, where's the pine cone now? After these cultures had perfected the suppository, there had to be some medicine men who were going, well, if you can take medicine orally and you can take it rectally, what other orifices can you stick medicine in? I feel bad for the men who drew the short straw. Yikes. In Western society, the suppository didn't actually really get picked up until the late 1500s. Towards the end of the 1500s, the French king, King Henry II, took a gut wound during a jousting tournament. His doctors told him that he could not eat until his stomach got better. So during that time period, the king was fed his nutrients via his anus. The real victim of this story is the king's food taster. Yes. The guy who has to taste all of the king's food to make sure it's not poisoned. Sacre bleu, the king. The king is having ribs again. Oh. The Austrians have invented cocktail weenies. They are like these long. Yes. Yes. At this point, I want to take a side and say it's a little nerve-wracking to pretend you're getting ass raped by a rib in front of 400 people. Hi, Mom. I'm kidding. She's not here. She's ashamed of me. But anyways, back to the king. During that time, he was given his nutrients via his rectum for 2 weeks. Yes, for 2 weeks, the king and the food taster dined on chicken cordon bumhole. After 2 weeks, his doctor said that the king was healthy enough to start eating food the more conventional way once again. Almost immediately, the king had an ulcer and died. So the doctors came up to the conclusion that eating during a gut wound was bad for you, but having stuff shoved up your ass was really healthy. Since then, the suppository stayed pretty much the same until about 100 years ago, when it started evolving. It became greasier and more torpedo-shaped to make insertion a little easier. It also became more gelatin-like so that your anus could better absorb everything. And today, the suppository is actually a $370 million a year industry. Yeah, that is a figure like some suppositories I just pulled out of my ass. It turns out there is not much about the suppository economics on the internet either. One thing that there is a lot about suppositories, though, is that researchers are actually working on a marijuana-based suppository. It is meant to replace opiates. They do say that this will significantly increase the economy of suppositories. There are also a lot of concerns that this will become the first drug to be used recreationally up your ass. But regardless, this is all just proof that one man's treasure is another man's pain in the ass. All right, thank you guys. Enjoy the show.
All right, how we doing? Make sure you order a lot of drinks, get drunk, huh? Yeah, make Frankie happy. We're going to have a little 1 minute here. There's going to be 1 minute in between each one of the speeches. So I'm hoping the timers are watching the 1 minute and give me a little green light there, you know, when it's time. Okay, yeah, okay. You know, Blue Toastmasters meets once a month. Y'all welcome to come, check it out. Our patron saint of Blue Toastmasters is George Carlin. You know, he one time said there's 400,000 words in the English language and there's only 7 you can't say on television. You know what that ratio is? 399,993 to 7? What the hell kind of ratio is that, man? It must be some, those 7 words gotta be some really fucking bad words, man. Anyway, how are we doing on a time there? 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6. I forgot how to count. I didn't graduate from high school. Anyway. Oh, jeez. Thank you. Our next speaker tonight, Colleen Todd. Welcome to your final destination. Welcome to your final destination, Colleen Todd.
Welcome. Welcome, yes, please come in. There's plenty of seats. Move your big butts over, make room for everyone. Well, hello. So good to see you here. I wanted you here. Oh, marvelous. All my favorite people, or not so favorite people, are here. Well, you inquisitive folks might have guessed. This is hell! Hell! Where the fuck is my lightning and thunder? God damn it. Sorry, folks, we're in a different amphitheater. Noise and sound effects are not working as I was told. No worries, we'll get to that later. Wait, do I not have an echo either? Damn, well, welcome to hell. You might be asking yourselves, why are you here? Well, that's a good question. You also might be asking, why is the devil such a sexy, slinky woman? Well, that's probably the reason why you're here, you sexist. I should be whatever I want to be. And I chose to come in this form. As you mortals probably know, it's becoming quite easier to be a woman than a white male. And trust me, the women coming in here were just giving me too much shit. So I decided to change and be like them. Hey! And many of you, I'm sure you think, well, I wasn't that bad. I didn't do anything too terrible. Wah, wah, wah. I'm here to educate you so you understand what your eternity will be all about. This is truly the fun part for me. So you see, if you're that person that never told the person you were talking to that there was spinach in their teeth, yeah, that's why you're here. Maybe you thought that holding open the door was a nice thing. Dream on! Kids do that nowadays. You think that's gonna get you to heaven? So, folks, let's just set some ground rules as I give you your introduction to hell. Let there be no screaming. Keep that to yourselves, okay? There'll be plenty of years and years and centuries that you get to scream all by yourself when no one will care. Second rule is you need to keep drinking. Drink all that you can. I want, woo, right? Drink it up. Fireballs for everyone. Not on my tab, though. I want you to feel like shit forever. So if you think that you're going to have your favorite little margarita, think again. We only got Jägermeister and Fireball, and it's coming for you fast. Now, since we all know who I am, and we all know where we're at, the fun part begins. We're gonna all find out what each other did to get here. Woohoo! So we'll start with those who are lustful, aka Mr. Frankie or MC. He's numero uno going to hell, right? That man calling me sexy. Who does he think he is? Thank you. So all the prostitutes, please make your way out. You're in the wrong place. God loves to fuck. So you need to go straight up to heaven. And what about for all of our zombie iPhone friends? You see them walking around doing this? All of you, make your way over here. You're definitely fucking in hell. What about our greedy people? You know, maybe all those who believe they're going to be the next influencer on YouTube, the next hit on social media. Yeah, I'm really tired of it, and so is the rest of the world. Get over here. And if you're part of the pharmaceutical companies, yeah, you're pretty bad. You're pretty bad. You gotta go to hell too. Make your way over here. These are my favorite. I fell into this category too when I was on Earth. We're angry. We're the volcanoes, the ones you never know are going to erupt. And then when they do, it's just disastrous. It's so beautiful. Oh, you're my favorites. You get to come right here next to me. Come this way. Yes, you. I know you're really pissed off. Come this way. Great. Oh, and what about those who commit heresy? All of you who thought that God wasn't real, well, joke's on you. This is gonna be fun because you're going to learn all about the other side now. You weren't too interested in what God, my Father, was doing, So you get to be part of all of the joy down below, where everyone truly is delightfully terrified. So welcome, welcome, atheists. Come, come. Come, come. And then we have those who are really violent. Not just our angry people. I'm talking about like the crazy bridezillas that throw things at their soon-to-be husbands, or maybe even the teachers that say those mean things to their children in their classrooms. You guys, what were you thinking? You belong over here. Come this way now. And finally, we have those who are traitors to the family, like myself. You get to spend eternity with me, sitting in a dark cell with poop up to your eyes. And I get to feed you anchovies. Woo! How fun! Well, I'm so excited that you all are here. It's actually getting me quite aroused. There's just so many of you newcomers, so much fun to have. Well, I'm now finished with you because I'm quite bored. And I'm going to see you at the barbecue later tonight. And the funny thing is, one of you will be our treat. If you look under your chair, you'll have a ticket, the one with the red ticket. I look forward to meeting you later.
Yahoo! Give it up for Colleen Ty. You one hell of a devil, man. God. Love that cleavage. Okay, we're gonna have another minute here in between our acts. Everybody having a good time so far? Everybody drinking a lot? Yeah. How many people in here are designated drivers tonight? You know, about 4 weeks ago, Frankie was coming back from Tucson Day, and I was on I-10, and I just gotten some good news at the hospital about a little problem I had, and I fell asleep at 75 miles an hour and crashed into a concrete barrier. Totaled my nice car. Man, I love my old car. So when the cops showed up, and I called 911, and they sent the highway patrol there. The guy come over to me, he says, what happened? And I told him, I said, I don't know. You're going to have to ask that lady back there. He said, what do you mean? I said, I was asleep. I don't know what the hell happened. He actually laughed at me. He said, nobody's ever said that to him before. Our next speaker, Lex Dominion. We are crazy in America, but we are still the best. We are crazy in America, but we are still the best. Lex Dominion.
Woo! How you all doing tonight? How you all doing tonight? Talk to me. Wow. We are very crazy in America, but don't get it twisted. We are still the freaking best. My name has not changed. It's still Lex Dominion. I'm the president of Dominion Motivation. I like motivating people. I'm so good at it, I can motivate a dead person. If someone is dead, I can start talking to the person, and the person will get back up. I'm from Africa. I actually put on an African outfit tonight. This is what I call African parachute. Many folks don't know that we have parachutes in Africa. I can get inside an helicopter, and when the helicopter is like 6,000 above the land surface, I can jump out and I can fly. But don't try it. If you try, you're going to die. I'm from Nigeria. I was born inside a church. I lived the first few years of my life inside a church. And I thought maybe I would be a priest. And at a young age, I made a dumb decision. Anybody ever made a dumb decision before? Almost everybody. I made a decision to be a celibate. To be a celibate. That was ridiculous. In high school, some of the girls, they gave me free offer to have sex. But I couldn't have sex with all these guys because I was a celibate. It was bad. I came to America and I started visiting different places. I think the beauty of this country is to travel and check out different cities. I went to downtown Chicago, downtown Indianapolis. I went to Colorado. I went to Texas. I went everywhere. And I went to Florida. In Florida, I went to the beach. And on the beach, I started walking around. And I saw these beautiful, sexy, hot, independent, smart American women. I said, wow, I've been living in some stinking bubbles all my life in Nigeria. I said, from now on, I am no longer a celibate. I am no longer a celibate. It does not make no sense to be a celibate with all these beautiful, sexy, hot American women. I call my folks in Nigeria. I said, you know what? I am no longer a celibate. And my brother got confused. But you left Nigeria a few months ago. What happened to you? I said, because of all these sexy American women. They are damn sexy. They are hot. And they are independent. I love independent women. My brother told me about you said you're going to be a pope. The first pope in Africa. I said, I wish. So I love the pope. But if the pope should come to America at the age that I came and see all these beautiful, sexy, hot, independent American women on the beach with different bikinis. White bikini, black bikini, blue bikini, red bikini. The Pope is not stupid. The Pope too will change his mind. I am not a celibate because American women, apart from coming here to speak tonight, I know there are going to be a lot of sexy, beautiful women here tonight. And thank you, Jesus. I am no longer a celibate. I'm single, and I'm ready to mingle. And if there's any lady here who is single, and you're ready to mingle, want to hang out with an African prince, let's hook up. I'm damn good. I mean, very good in bed. I've got a lot of Viagra and Cialis. I figured why many single ladies or guys are not happy is because they are not having enough sex. Married folks are happy because they are having enough sex. Some of my female friends told me a few months ago that they don't like it when the guy get on top of them and started having sex with them. Started doing it. And after 5 minutes, the guy goes up for orgasm and starts sweating and shaking like Christmas goat. Women doesn't like that. When the guy get on top of the woman and after 5 minutes, they're already up for orgasm. Now he's sweating like a Christmas goat. Anybody ever see Christmas goat before? I have to take you to Nigeria. We have a lot of Christmas goats in Nigeria. We kill goat to celebrate Christmas. When you look at those goats on Christmas Eve, you will pity them because they're going to die the next day. So they're sweating. I've got an advice for some guys here. Get Viagra if you need Viagra. And if you don't have Viagra, get Cialis. And if you're not sure, use the two together. We're crazy in America, but don't get it twisted. We are still the best. I want everybody here to jump inside limousine with me. And let us travel back in the corridor of history, American history to be specific. When America won the Revolutionary War, some folks came to George Washington. They said, George Washington, be our king. And George Washington said, I will not be your king. He said, in Europe, it's monarchy, but in America, it's going to be democracy. He said, in Europe, they are still kissing the stinking fat ass of the queen or the king. But in America, we are not kissing the stinking fat ass of any queen or any king. It's going to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. Don't get it twisted. We're crazy in America, but we are still the best. American democracy has been a democracy, has been a precedent for democracy in more than 150 countries for the past 150 years. And anywhere there's a natural disaster in any country, the first airplane that you see is American Red Cross. And there's no other country in the universe that has been a blessing to immigrants, which I'm one of them, like the United States of America. We are crazy in America, but don't get it twisted. We are still the best because we don't kiss people stinking fat ass in America. You are the best.
You all having fun now? You know, how many people in here listen to NPR on the radio in the car? You know, Frankie, I'm kind of a right-wing fanatic, you know, so I listen to NPR because I always want to know what the enemy is doing. And the other day I heard one, this is real. This was on NPR. One of our most prestigious universities here in Arizona, I believe it was, I don't know which one, did a study about a bunch of words you're not allowed to use anymore, and phrases, because they might hurt somebody's feelings. And I almost ran off the road and had another frickin' accident. Ladies, girls, bad words. When I come back later, I'll tell you about 2 phrases they brought up. Right now, I want to introduce our next speaker, Nick Corradino, Pocket Rocket Man. Pocket Rocket Man, Nick Corradino.
It was the 1990s, the decade when I sowed my wild oats here in the nightclubs in Phoenix. Albeit, very little grew for me back then, except for one night. I was lucky enough to slow dance with a gorgeous woman. And things were going so well. And then Dick the DJ decided to stop the music and play the electric slide. And Judy here, well, she wanted to do it. And I had an erection. You don't mind hanging out over here, do you, Judy? As you can all see, I'm very happy to see you tonight. And in case this microphone stops working, I have an extra one in my pants. A 1, a 2, hit it, Dick. Doobie 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 doo up 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 up. You wanna see it? It's an erection. Boogie boogie boogie. You wanna feel it? It's an erection. Boogie boogie boogie. And you know it's there. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It wants to meet you. Won't you come over and shake its hand? It wants to teach you, and teach you too. Teach you all the erection slide. And if you don't move fast, it's gonna turn to jello, oh aye. It's gonna turn to jello, oh aye. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Dick, play a bona fide hit from the 1980s. Deep in my pants there is movement. A lot of room left to grow. No need for self-flagellation. I think I'll just get me a hoe. Good God! I'm gonna walk down to Erection Avenue. My pants are getting tighter. Look at my meat. You heard me. Look at my meat. It's the dark side of me. Oh, I'm gonna walk down to Erection Avenue. I think this will excite her. She'll look at it and say, oh no! Oh no! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For my next act, Dick, I'm a ding-dong. Dick, I'm a ding-dong. Play something from the 1980s. How about the Talking Heads? No? How about a little Jacko Dick? She told me, don't you ever come around here. She didn't want to see my face until this thing disappeared. But I really like this girl, so I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to go out and beat it. Just beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. I'm going out to beat my meat. Grab me up, Playboy, turn off the lights. It doesn't matter who I think about tonight, just beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Dick, how about a song that really personifies me personally? That's the one. For the last time tonight, hit it, Dick. I pulled my fly up tonight and popped the tent. I had 0 alcohol in my system and it was 9 p.m. I'm a pocket rocket man. Pocket rocket man. Oh, I think it's gonna be a long, long time before there's someone that I can find to treat me like a dog that found a bone. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a pocket rocket man. Pocket rocket man, pulling on my putt out here alone. Oh, I think it's gonna be a long, long night. This thing's definitely gonna get me in a fight. I think I'll go home and get it out of sight. They all said, oh, no, 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 because I'm a pocket rocket man. Pocket rocket man, pulling on my putt out here alone. You know what? I think I'll just go home and beat my schlong. That's what I'm gonna do. I think I'll just go home and beat my schlong. Yeah. Oh, I think I'll just go home and beat my schlong.
Frankie is a nasty son of a bitch, but I ain't that goddamn bad. Anyway, back to my little story about NPR, where they said you can't use the word girls anymore, you can't say ladies because you might piss somebody off or it'll hurt their feelings. That was what they said. And then there were the 2 phrases. Now, how many people in here have ever said after they've accomplished some little task that they didn't think they were going to be able to do, and they said, damn, I just hit it out of the park? How many people have said that they hit it out of the park? It's a little baseball term, right? It means you were successful. How about, damn, home run? Those 2 phrases are not allowed to be used anymore because you might hurt some poor son of a bitch's feelings that's not into sports. Can you imagine that shit? I couldn't believe it. That was on NPR. I am not lying to you one bit. Anyway, we're going to move on with our next... Oh, is it time? Oh, okay. Our next speaker, Steve Antman. Jesus, man, you women get really excited, don't you? My Captain Addiction. My Captain Addiction, Steve Antman.
Damn, I did it again. Friends, can I be honest with you tonight? Hi, I'm Steve. You guys kind of suck as a support group. Let's do this again. Hi, I'm Steve. Hi, Steve. And I'm a captain-aholic. I can't get him out of my mind. Society is riddled with captain examples. Like for example, the football season just started, and at the beginning of every single game, what do? They call the captains out for the coin toss. Here, call it in the air. Heads. Of course, everybody calls heads Captain Obvious. Back in the 70s, we had the captain and to kneel. Muskrat Susie, Muskrat Sam, do the jitterbug down in Muskrat Land. Yeah, millennials, that was a thing. And when you take a trip, many times you'll hear over the speaker, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. So, Tommy, you ever seen a grown man naked?" Let me take you back to the beginning, though. My addiction started when I was little. You could say I was exposed at a young age. My parents did everything they could to keep us apart. I always managed to sneak a little captain here and there. You could say as a kid I was captain hooked. As a young man, I pursued the captain with reckless abandon. I pursued my passions as much time as I could. There were late nights with the captain. There were mornings with the captain. There were all days with the captain. Let's just say I did everything I could to get a little captain in me. But then I got married. Yep. Don't think I gave up my relationship with the captain then. Oh no. Don't worry, she knew. There were even times that she occasionally joined in. But over time, captain just didn't do it much for me anymore. The relationship was bad. You could say my spirit was low. Things had fallen on the rocks. I tried to break up with him. I did. I tried. But I'm a weak man. And time again, the captain always managed to find himself back at my house. We usually start in the kitchen. End up in my bedroom. And the next morning, we'd have that long walk of shame. Don't judge me, you've all been there. Right, Mom? I think the only way I can break this addiction is to have an intervention right here, right now. Matter of fact, we need to call the captain out face to face. Are you ready with me? Yeah! Oh, Captain, my Captain. I have loved you so much. But you're just not healthy. I tried to get healthy. I did. I joined a support group. But you know what they told me? They said that I should replace my addiction with something healthier. So I tried Wheaties. That was stupid advice. Bunch of flakes. I knew I had to get radical. I became a vegan. I ate crunch berries only. But as it turns out, if the good Lord had intended us to eat nothing but berries and sticks, he wouldn't have put real captain right here on this flat earth with us. Then, I tried an alternative lifestyle. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. But I was back in college, and turns out peanut butter captain just doesn't do it for me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Captain, I wish I knew how to quit you. I only see one way out. I gotta kill the captain. I'm gonna kill Captain Crunch. And you watch. It's gonna be big news. Not fake news, big news. Bigger than the 2016 inauguration news. They'll probably appoint a special counsel, and after 2 years of investigations and millions of dollars, I'm going to proclaim, no collusion, no obstruction. I'll probably still end up in prison. But when I'm in jail, all the news people are going to come and talk to me. 2020 is going to want to know exactly where did things go wrong between me and the captain. Maury Povich is going to want to know who exactly is the father of Snap, Crackle, and Pop. But when it's all said and done, every year on the anniversary of his death, they'll run the special about me. And in the end, I'm going to go down in history as the greatest serial killer.
Everybody getting kind of tight? I know I am. This scotch is really some good shit here. We're having a lot of fun here tonight. I hear everybody's having a real good time. I would like to, just one little somber moment, in all seriousness, for a Toastmaster in District 3 here who passed away recently. A very, very good friend of mine for a long time, Maggie Sherwood. That lady was too frickin' funny, and nobody ever noticed how funny she really was. I remember one time I walked up to her at a meeting and I said, "Hey Maggie, how they hanging there, girl?" And she looked up at me and she went, "Fuck you, Commando." I thought everybody in the room was going to take a dump right there, man. They could not believe that she actually said that, because she never cursed. So I guess old Al brought the best out of her. I don't know. Our next speaker is Dennis Clark. I don't even know if I want to say this. Going where the sun don't shine. Going where the sun don't shine, Dennis Clark.
Have you, like me, ever wondered who in his right mind would actually want to be a proctologist? Is there some sort of cheap thrill of putting a camera on the end of a garden hose and shoving it up where the sun don't shine? I got some answers to these kinds of questions when I finally got my own personal proctologist. Now I recommend that you all get one. Turns out that proctologists are the jokesters of the medical profession. For example, at last year's annual proctology convention, yes, there is such a thing. At the end of the day, they go off for cocktails, and every bar they went into, they only came in the rear. Once inside, they spent a lot of time just checking out the stools. But I digress. My proctology story started with my first colonoscopy. Yes, that's the topic. My doctor not only made it fun, he made it a real thrill to remember. Now that I have more than a dozen colonoscopies behind me, I am an old pro at bearing my bowels to the medical world. Tonight, I'm going to tell you how my doctor made everyone into a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Each exam consisted of mostly 3 phases: preparation, relaxation, and recovery. Preparation meant I had to clean out everything I had eaten or even thought about eating since last Tuesday. Trust me when I tell you that this step is a real blast. It consisted of drinking a bottle of what I call premium colon blow. It seemed like a delicious lime-flavored soda. I knew better, though, because I could only find it in the pharmacy section of the supermarket on a shelf surrounded by laxatives. That's the first hint of the fun to come. Once I slugged that down, I had to make sure I had a clear path to the bathroom at all times. It was about to get real. The action began when my guts began to gurgle, then get louder and louder, finally rumbling like Mount Krakatoa about to erupt. It was no longer time to think about going to the bathroom so much as an all-out sprint to the toilet, sitting down quickly and hanging on for dear life. If I'd planned right, I'd have loud music in the background to drown out the god-awful explosions coming out of my body that would otherwise scare the pets and small children. That was the preparation phase. Then came phase 2, relaxation, my favorite phase. I go to the clinic the next day and I get an IV relaxation cocktail, or what I call my happy juice. After about 5 seconds, I thought everything I heard or said was absolutely hilarious. I could even crack up at the lamest Toastmasters jokes. No offense, Frankie. I didn't care when the colonoscope came out, you know, that hose with the camera on the end. What could possibly go wrong? Hey, I was relaxed. Good thing too, because that's when they turned on the air pump and blew me up like a Goodyear blimp. Still didn't care. Still relaxed. The real thrill during the exam, though, was when the doctor asked me if I wanted to look through the scope at my own insides. I did. Very, very interesting. It lent whole new meaning to the phrase, having my head up my ass. Then I was ready for the recovery, the third and final phase. Have you ever been in a social situation where you maybe have had a little gas? I didn't want you to raise your hand. That you had some control over? That's because your anal sphincter muscle, the smartest muscle in your body, can tell solid, liquid, and gas and let out one at a time. Now, in recovery, this is not an issue. By that time, my anal sphincter had been dumbed down to the level of a moron. I had no control whatsoever. All I could do was sleep like a baby, let the gas laws of physics do their thing, and dream blissfully of balloons exploding in a rainstorm. Then I would wake up with a wonderful sense of relief, no longer feeling like I had a 3-course meal of Mexican food, chili beans, and cabbage. Well, that was the final part of the exam. That was the short version of it. I did get an answer to one of my main questions, who would want to be a proctologist. You see, these are dedicated, if slightly kinky, doctors who fill a valuable niche as the court jesters of healthcare. Right? I hope my story has inspired all of you to run right out and get your next colonoscopy appointment right now. Until you do, you won't know what you've been missing. I do have one warning for you, though, that I learned the hard way. As you know, many people like to record videos and upload them online, including some of those proctologists. As of this morning, there are 7,143 videos of colonoscopies on YouTube alone. Just make sure you don't become number 7,144. Thank you.
You're one sick puppy there, Dennis Clark. The other day, I spent a lot of time in the military, so I go to the VA hospitals down in Tucson, and I got a phone call the other day after I received this package in the mail, with a whole bunch of stuff to eat and drink or whatever, and pills and shit. with a note saying, do not touch this until you get a call from the nurse. The nurse called me the other day to set up the appointment for the black snake. That's exactly what she said too. She said, we need to make an appointment for the black snake. And I said, you're kidding me, man. Colonoscopy timing. I always remember my first colonoscopy and the doctor asked me if I wanted to watch it on television. I said, you out of your goddamn mind, I want to be asleep. Who wants, I don't know, that's nasty shit, man. Yeah, they made me do one. I did one last year, and after I came out of it, they said, it wasn't such a good deal. We're gonna have to do it again next year. This time we're gonna put you under general anesthesia because you fought us the whole way. I don't know. Anyway, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Our next speaker, Paul Bonaforte. The Great Race. The Great Race, Paul Bonaforte.
Thank you, Frankie, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and anyone who likes to hear amazing personal stories. Now, there's two things you have to know about me. One, unlike most of you who can't remember much before you were, say, 3 or 4 years old, I remember everything, and I mean everything that ever happened to me. Secondly, I love to swim. I was literally born to swim. Why, I remember when my mother was 9 months pregnant with me, I was just sitting there in her womb, just kind of relaxing, and she was floating in the water at the beach because it took the weight off of her back. Her back was hurting. So as she's floating there, suddenly a rogue wave comes, lifts my mother up, throws her into the sand, and she goes into labor. And I wake up, and I'm looking, and I can see a little crack of light. So I come up to the light, and I look out, and I can see water, and I can see fish, and then it started pushing my head out. And I wanted to scream, but I was underwater. And then, push, she squeezes me out. And I start swimming. And it's really beautiful. I'm having such a good time, but then another rogue wave comes. And it starts taking me out to sea. I want to scream, and then, I look down. It was the umbilical cord. So I pulled myself back to my mother. And I got into her loving arms. And that started my career as a swimmer. I swam in high school, I swam in college. I was going to go into the Olympics, but it was too easy. So I entered very dangerous endurance races. Like the Amazon 1000. It was 1,000 miles down the Amazon River. Crocodiles coming into the water after us, piranha nipping at our feet, and on the shore, there were natives shooting blow darts at us. It was extremely dangerous. Sadly, we lost about 150 competitors. But I came in third, and I qualified for the Suez Canal Triathlon. It was called a swim, fight, and run. Here's what you had to do. You had to swim backwards, fight off Somali pirates, and then when you got to the shore in Yemen, you had to run like hell from the jihadists who wanted to kill the infidels. A very dangerous race. But as dangerous and as difficult as those races were, none were as difficult or as dangerous as the Great Race. The Great Race, which happened about 9 months before I was born. when I was just a tiny little spermazoa. I remember it well. There I was, standing at the starting line. Which was very difficult since all I had was a tail. So I'm standing there and I look to my left. There's 300,000 competitors. I look to my right, there's 700,000 more. There's 1 million of us. And only 1 or 2 or maybe 3 at the max wins. Everyone else dies. So I'm very, very excited. Now, we had heard a month earlier that all the swimmers died because they wound up in a sock. But I knew today was the day because my father was home on leave from the army. And they had just finished a bottle of wine. So I'm waiting there, very intent. We want to hear the sound of the gun. But there was no gun. We started rocking. There was a loud moan, and we were off. We were going. It was complete chaos. And then as we went around the fallopian curve, I looked ahead, it was 2 blondes. What are blondes doing in my gene pool? But they were going the wrong way. So I kept on going. And then finally, we hit Humorous Hill. And thousands petered out. They petered out, you get it? So we start climbing up Humorous Hill, and we heard on the other side that there was a wall, not a Trump wall, but a big rubber wall. So we peek over, and it wasn't there. What we saw was a beautiful, pulsating orb. We got really excited. As I looked at it, I could see there was a little door. And as I swam closer, it said, "Enter here." It really said, "Entered here." So I swam hard. I took my giganto head. I threw it at the door. It went through the door. The door slammed. I was out of breath. But outside, hundreds, maybe thousands, "Let me in! Please! Let me in!" But I couldn't let him in. I was exhausted. I was laying there. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up and I was looking out at the beautiful water. Mr. Toastmaster.
Getting laid will never be the same again. Woo! Oh my God. He's kept that Fogo Fadi there, he's kept that speech hidden away for, I guess, about 10 years. Since about 10 years ago he came out with that speech. And I always remembered it. The first time I saw it, it was in a church at a speech contest. Serious. I thought lightning was going to come through the fucking roof, man, anymore. I didn't know we could tell speeches like that when I got into Toastmasters back then, man. Woo. So how's everybody doing? We're doing pretty good on time, too. I'm really surprised at how fast we're moving along. I don't know, are we ready now? I think we're ready. Are we ready? Oh, are you ready back there? Our next speaker, David Hodash, brownies. I don't know if they're special brownies or what, but they're brownies. David Hodash.
want to tell you a 100% true story that happened 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was a single dad living with a 16-year-old son in a small house. 4:20 Thursday morning, I was awoken by the clamoring of pots and pans from the kitchen. I ran in the kitchen to see my son and his friend Cheech baking something. Knock it off, guys. I gotta work soon. Clean up the kitchen. So I went to work and I came home that evening starving. My cupboards were bare. Mother Hubbard had shit on me. I had no time to get food because my Toastmasters meeting was going to be coming up soon. So I looked in the fridge, just a carton of milk, grabbed it. Oh, 3 weeks past due. Put it back. Luckily for me, I opened the microwave, and to my delight, there was a tray of brownies. I was so happy I had one. It tasted a little funny. But I had another, and the more I had, the better it tasted. Pretty soon I ate half the tray. I was so thirsty, I opened the fridge. Milk! Nice! Put it back. And I tell you, my Toastmasters meeting was at a church. So I get in my car, I start driving there, and halfway there, it hit me hard. Whoa, called up my son, I said, what was in those brownies? He said, Dad, you didn't eat them, did you? They were pot brownies. I said, one, I ate half the tray. Dude, you better go home now while you can still drive. I lived in the 70s, I can handle it. So right before the church is a small street with a stop sign, so I stop. I'm waiting for it to turn green. I had to run that fucker. I get in the parking lot, go upstairs, and I go into a meeting room. I didn't know where I was. I thought I was at a bar. Now, I'm the VP of membership at the time, and this girl came up to ask me a question. How you doing? I thought she was hitting on me. Come here a lot? That's one guest that will never join Toastmasters. Then I saw my friend Joe. And for those of you who know Joe, he's pretty tall. I said, Joe, I ate a half a tray of brownies, pot brownies. He said, you better go home now, dude, while you can still drive. I lived in the 70s, I can handle it. What time did you eat those? Thursday. How high are you? Yes. Just about then I started getting cotton mouth. So, if a cop ever asks you, how high are you? You say, no, officer, it's hi. How are you? Joe tells me, he goes, man, pot causes short-term memory loss. What does pot cause? And finally he goes, man, you can go to jail for pot brownies. Jail sells pot brownies? Then all of a sudden, I hear what sounds like a dog clicker. And sure enough, there's a guy in front talking and a guy in back with a dog clicker clicking. I go, oh, this is gonna be good. I go, what's he gonna do? Fix something? Catch a frisbee in his mouth? Come on, boy, you can do it. Come on. Who's a good boy? By this time, it's time for me to leave. Start walking out. Ooh, cookies. So I get to go downstairs and the damn escalator's not working. Oh, stairs. I make my way down, get to my car. I'm trying to call my son, but I can't read my phone list. So I'm just starting at the top, calling everybody, son? No? Okay. Son? No? Okay. Son? No? Okay. 30 people later, somebody caught to it. Son? Yeah, okay, good. Come and get me, I can't drive. So he pulls up, and for some reason, I got out and started walking home, and he grabbed me, started leading me to his car. Shotgun. And he gets in to drive, and I said, I am so mad at you. When I get sober, you're grounded for 30 years. Life. Oh, you're in trouble. Now take me to Jack in the Box. Thank you.
When the moon hits your eye, that's the morning. That's the morning. Oh, baby. Whew. How many of you guys in here have ever made love to a woman with multiple personality disorders? Raise your hand, I want to see. Anybody? I did one time, and I met this chick in a bar. And I said, hey, I'll buy you a drink. And I said, yeah, your place, my place. She said, let's go to my place. I said, okay. And, you had in the movies, and you see the couple, they hit the door, and they're crawling all over each other, and the clothes are just strewn through the rooms, into one room, into another, and then into the bedroom. Bra, panties, tighty whities laying on the floor. After it was all over, man, I never knew whether I was with Kim, Jane, Mary, or John. Man, it was weird. And after it was all over, I was laying there in bed with John, smoking a cigarette. And we were talking about how great it was. Anyway, our next speaker, he's so sweet looking. Eve Clark, plumbing tools. Plumbing tools, Eve Clark.
When I was 31 years old, a long time ago, I was looking for a new career. I picked up my local newspaper to look in the want ads. You see, in those days, we didn't have jobs online because in those days, we didn't even have computers. But I found a job that really interests me. It said, Smith Pipe and Steel, downtown Phoenix, looking for showroom and counter sales. I thought, wow, this might work. I went and applied for the job. Yay! I got the job. I was so excited. I went to work the next morning. It was too early for anybody to be in the showroom. I went to the counter, and a real nice salesman walked up and showed me how to fill out an invoice. Along came my first customer, a plumber, and he walked right up to me and he said, I want 100 feet, a half-inch M hard copper. And I gave him one of these, what? Looks, because I had no idea what he was talking about. I marched right over to my boss and I said, I don't know plumbing terms, what do I do? And he said, go on the warehouse, find Johnny, he'll help you. Well, I hightailed it out to the warehouse. I found Johnny, and I told him who I was and what I wanted. And Johnny said, no problem, I'll help you. He was filling an order and he picked up this big old brass thing and he called it a downspout nozzle. I looked at it and I said, that looks like Mick Jagger's tongue. That's when I realized word recognition. If I thought of tongue, I think of downspout nozzle. This will work. On my way home, I drove to the public library. I checked out a book, The History of Plumbing. After dinner, I started browsing through the book and I saw a chapter on toilets. I figured I'd read this chapter. I found out that Sir John Harrington invented the first pot that used water. Is this where they coined the phrase, I gotta go to the John? And then I found out that Thomas Crapper actually invented the first toilet that flushed. He invented a flush valve. Is this where the phrase came, I gotta go take a crap? And then I got a premonition. If I put them both together, word recognition, I gotta go to the John to take a crap. This is how I can remember these people. I went to work the next morning. I was so excited. I told Johnny all about the toilets. He was excited too. And I said, but Johnny, I want to know how you put fittings together. He said, no problem. I'll show you. He took me over to the warehouse and said, he gave me a male adapter and he gave me a female adapter. And he said, in order to put your male into your female, you have to use lubricated pipe dough. You lather up the male really good. Because you got to turn the male into the female. In other words, you screw the male into the female. And you want a really tight fit. If you don't have a tight fit, then you're going to have some kind of discharge or some kind of seepage coming out of the female. So you want to make sure you have a tight fit. And I looked at Johnny and I said, Johnny, plumbing's perverted. And he said, you want to see perverted? He took me over and showed me a sill cock and a freeze cock. Oh my! And then he said, there's a cock for everything. He showed me that there's a vacuum cock and a bath cock. Wow! And then Johnny handed me a pet cock. And I thought, oh my, how am I going to ask a plumber if he wants a 1/4-inch pet cock or what size cock he actually wants? But I learned how to talk pet cocks to the plumber. Then he showed me a stopcock, and I was wondering, what's that used for? Johnny showed me a gas cock and a lube cock. Yes, I had a great time selling a 6-inch lube cock to a plumber. That was a lot of fun. Remember Thomas Crapper? He invented the ball cock. Yes, there is a cock for everything. But then Johnny said, there's one cock bigger than all the other cocks, because it's called a cock hole cover. You know, on a kitchen sink where you have an extra hole and you don't know what to put in that hole? You put a cock hole cover in. But make sure you tighten that nut really good. Because if you don't, you're going to have a lot of problems. You know what? You have to use penetrating oil on that nut and spray that nut really good because you want to make sure you get your nut off. So make sure that you spray enough penetrating oil on the nut so you can get your nut off. But all in all, I had so much fun sewing plumbing. I learned plumbing terms. I even was talking cocks to all the plumbers. And I did this till I retired. It took me 30 years, and I was a happy camper. Thank you.
Brings a whole new meaning to the word cock, doesn't it? Oh my God. So, how many of you in here tonight are not Toastmasters? Raise your hand. Let's see how many are not. You know, so many people are afraid to get up in front of somebody and speak. And I tell people all the time, you know, I said, it's fun. It's the only place in the world where you can get up here on the stage and act like a complete frickin' asshole. And yeah, like me. And everybody is jealous because you all wish you could be up here and do what I'm doing. And if you say that's not true, you're lying through your frickin' teeth. And yes, I am an asshole. You know, some people work all their lives to get that name. With me, it was a gift. I was born that way. You know, when you're first born, you know, and the nurse takes you and gives you to your mother, and she nurses you for the first time, and I bit my mother right on the nipple. And she looked at me and she said, "You asshole." And I've been one ever since. Our next speaker, Kenny Dale. Glossophobia. Glossophobia, Kenny Dale.
Hi, my name is Kenny Dale. I am, I'm actually a professional speaking coach. I suffer from glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. I get it, it's ironic. It's kind of like a pilot who's afraid of heights, or a mummy who's claustrophobic, which is a stupid fucking joke. That's not even a job. People tell me, well, Kenny, you must be a terrible coach because you're pretty god-awful at speaking. So I have to politely tell them, well, Michael Jordan was a great player, but a terrible fucking coach, so fuck you. So I need to get over this claustrophobia, and I am just going to use the same advice I give my clients. And we're going to just start off something basic. So you need to find somebody in the audience that makes you very comfortable, and thank God the devil's here. So the devil, I'm just going to stare at your boobs the entire time of the presentation. But unfortunately, I can't just stare at those warlocks. I have to actually make eye contact. So we have a little mind trick that we like to teach people, and it's looking up and pretending that nobody in the audience is actually here. Which, I don't do drugs. I can clearly see everybody. Shiny head and all the cheap bastards up top. I can see everybody. Oh, well, that didn't work either. Always having water on stage is a great tip. What we like to tell people is always drink 4 gallons of water the hour before your presentation. And thanks, your laughing helps my glossophobia, you assholes. 1 gallon of water will probably suffice, and I will say I am feeling a lot more relaxed all of a sudden. And it is warmer in this half of the room. But I'm starting to relax some. And the thing that I still need to do is working on eye contact. And standing up on stage, and this is why a lot of people have fears, you feel like you're getting judged, and you feel like you're getting the hate. So we turn this around. And the idea is to think of everybody in their underwear. See, you hate on me, I'm gonna hate right back on you, bitch. Got it. So imagine everybody in their underwear. Hey, Mom. She's not here, she's ashamed of me and my brother. But you realize doing this presentation that this is Toastmasters, which is for old people, which is a lot of sagging and sagging, and my eyes are scarred for life. This technique could work out, actually, if you're teaching an ASU class of freshmen where it's nice and perky, nice and appropriate. Well, that joke bombed. That was great, too. Anybody like Brene Brown? I do, too. Thank you. Yeah. So she's all about being a champion of vulnerability. And I read this extreme technique online, so you know it's true. The idea is pretty simple. It's you just give a presentation in your underwear. I know. You thought my mom was ashamed of me earlier. So the idea behind this is fairly simple. It's like jumping off a bridge. You just want to fucking die. So it's about being a champion. Oh shit myself. Okay. Being a vulnerable champion. Oh no. Okay, here I am, people. Yes, I am pretty goddamn stuck and vulnerable all at the same time. I'm not quite over this fear, and Brene Brown would be ashamedly proud of me, I feel like. But you need to feel comfortable on stage, and so I tell people, you should always wear something that makes you feel comfortable and confident, like at home, whether it's your favorite cowboy boots, favorite pants or hat. And I'm realizing just the terrible fucking advice that was I give people. I feel comfortable wearing women's underwear. If I must say, it's who I am on the inside and the outside. Plus, it just really accents all my right curves, right, boys? But to get over this fear, I'm not quite over glossophobia. So let's do it. Rugged man, fellow Toastmasters, it takes balls to get over your biggest fear. And sometimes you realize you just have to go right at it. And from this point on, whether it's an audience of 500 people or 450 people out here tonight, woo! I can always tell myself one thing. At least I'm not naked anymore. I did shit myself. Yeah, my bad.
Oh my God. Well, you know, a lot of people out there, you know, they do shit themselves when they give their first speech in front of everybody. Who the hell is that cat doing like a goddamn chicken over here? Is that Ted Polakowski? The nastiest person I know on the face of the earth. I'm not allowed to repeat the Ted Polakowski lowest of the lowest of the lowest jokes. No, I can't. I've been told I've been forbidden to tell it. Yeah, it ain't enough time. I don't think I got enough time. Maybe after this next speech. And I should have, you know, this next speech here is all about something I should have wished was around when I got divorced the first time. And then when I got divorced the second time, I wish that I had this service available to me. Our next speaker, Paul Pastore. Divorce Recovery Workshop. Divorce Recovery Workshop, Paul Pastore.
How many here would say that they're happily married? Show of hands. Ted and Ginger Polakowski have been married for 50 years. How many single people do we have tonight? Is there anybody engaged tonight? Well, Colleen and Nate, congratulations. Oh, several people. And is there anybody here like me that's been divorced at least once? Oh, wow, look at that. Well, starting next month, I'm having a divorce recovery workshop because I don't want to happen to you what's happened to me. Let me tell you that story. It happened about 10 years ago when my wife at the time wanted a divorce. She didn't want any counseling. She just wanted a divorce as soon as possible. So we did the legal work, and the day came when she'd come to the house with a truck to get her stuff. And just before she left, I decided to scurry around the house and see if she forgot anything. And when I went into the master bedroom closet, there, hanging on the rack, was her wedding dress. I was sure she'd want to take this with her. So I went down the stairs, and I noticed something had changed. Has anybody here seen the movie The Exorcist? Oh, do you remember that movie when Merlin the priest went into the little girl's room? Everything was cold. Her voice was very low, and her eyes were very slanty. Boy, that's what it was like in the kitchen that morning when I came down and said, "Honey, it looks like you forgot your wedding dress." And she said, "You can keep it." And then I said, "But honey, what would you want me to do with your wedding dress?" And she said, "You can shove it up your ass." And then she left. Now tell me again, who are the engaged people here tonight? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, this is a primer. Here's how it starts. Till death do us part. And here's how it ends. Shove it up your ass! I'm gonna need a little help on this one. Here's how it starts. In sickness and in health. And how does it end? That's right. It starts out for richer or for poorer. And how does it end? That's right. And those are some of the things you're going to learn in my divorce recovery workshop. Now, when she slammed the door and left, I was flabbergasted. I took a seat and I thought I'd have a cup of coffee to quiet my nerves. But just before I put the paper filter into the coffee maker, I thought, why should I waste a perfectly good coffee filter when I could use the wedding dress? Oh yeah, I put the coffee in there.
A few minutes later, I had one of the most cathartic, refreshing, therapeutic cups of coffee I've ever had in my life. And that's another tip you're going to learn in my divorce recovery. That's right. You're wondering, well, are there any other things you're using your wife's wedding dress for? Yeah, in the kitchen, an apron, a hot pad. I had to go to work that day, so I went up and took a shower. Just as I got out of the tub, I looked and I thought, why should I soil a perfectly good bath mat when I could use the wedding dress? Sure. Who are the people getting married again? Oh yeah. I had to go to work that day. When I went into the garage, now there's just one car, and it has a little oil leak. I was going to get an oil drip pan, but now I'm using the wedding dress. You could be thinking, sure, that's in the house, but what about outside the house? Is it possible to use your ex-wife's wedding dress outside the house? Yeah. This time of year, when you're raking up the pine needles, the dog poop, and the leaves, there's a drop cloth for you. And this time of year, it gets a little nippy, right? What do you put on your plants? Plastic? Burlap? A wedding dress works great! Those are some more of the things you're going to learn in my divorce. That's right. Now, some of my Toastmaster friends here know that I like going outside into the woods. I like hiking and camping. And now when Lisa and I go on a hike, I use the wedding dress as mosquito netting. Others of my Toastmaster friends know I like basketball. So whenever I play now, I'm using it as a do-rag. Yes, my friends, those are some of the tips you'll learn in my divorce recovery workshop. Once again, who are the people about to get married? All right, do me a favor, would you? Look at the person on the left of you. Look at the person on the right. Are they smiling and happy? Are they? Because if they are, that means you're the one that needs the divorce recovery workshop. You may be thinking, give me one more free tip to encourage me to sign up. So you're in a room like this. There's a pesky fly. You don't have a fly swatter. What could you use? A wedding dress! That's what you could use! A wedding dress! Next month, sign up, Divorce Recovery Workshop.
So getting back to the Ted Polakowski joke, the nastiest joke in the universe. No, don't tell it. I'm getting the word. No, don't tell it. It's too nasty. You have to come to Blue if you want to hear the Ted Polakowski joke, because it set the bar so fucking low that not even a freaking flea can crawl under that son of a bitch. No. I wish I could tell it, but I know what would happen. I'd be shot somewhere along the way on I-10 by somebody who'd be in the car with me. Although that person should be on their best behavior because that person is 3.0. I've been through 1.0 and 2.0. This one is 3.0. I know, we ready back here? Yeah, I think we're ready. Our next speaker, Sophia Cordero. The power of semi-voluntary muscles. The power of semi-voluntary muscles. Sofia Cordero.
Life is about choices. Good choices, bad choices, and their respective consequences. Let me tell you about the choices I make every day in the bathroom. I choose the toilet. How could I choose any differently? When I have to choose between closing the bathroom stall door or the toilet seat, I choose the toilet. I don't know how I could choose differently. The repercussions of not making it to the toilet in time are far more complicated than leaving the door ajar and risking somebody passing by and seeing me while I pee. This happens to me every day. Let me tell you how I think it all started. Back in 4th grade, our science teacher was giving a lesson about the muscles in our body. I learned about the voluntary muscles that you move at your command, like your limbs. I learned about the involuntary muscles that move on their own, like most of our organs, like our heart. But the semi-voluntary muscles, those are just amazing. Those are the ones that you can control sometimes, and other times your body will just take over. Like, for example, our eyelids or the sphincter in your anus. How many of you, by a show of hands, have tried to battle against your body in a bad case of diarrhea? How many of those have won? The fact that our body has the capability of taking over and removing trash from our body is amazing. That day in science class, I started wondering, if it's semi-voluntary, how much is the voluntary part? And that is where my quest began. I wanted to know how long or how much I could hold on, how I could control my body, how much I could control the muscles in my bladder. Not because I wanted to prove my body wrong or win against my body. I just want to do whatever it is I am doing other than standing up and having to walk and go to the bathroom. That's it. Simple. Over the years, I've used many techniques, what I call the holding techniques. The first one is breathing and focus where you breathe in and you hold it. Another ones that are more common where you tap your feet or your leg. They're not very useful. My favorite one is the more childish or natural one where you just use your hands and you just hold it tight. Hold it. Sometimes I wish I had a peanut so I could pinch it. I have 2 demonstrations for you. The first one is what going to the bathroom should look like. I stand up with enough time. I walk to the bathroom. I open the bathroom stall door. I get in. I close the bathroom stall door and I lock it. I turn around. I pull out the toilet seat cover carefully up, then down, and lay carefully so it doesn't fly away. And but what really happens, Mrs. Overachiever over here had 3 cups of coffee that morning and waited about 30 seconds too late to decide to go. Now I'm sitting on my desk and I can't even stand up. So I use my technique number 1.
I breathe in until I can stand up enough so I can stand up and make it to the bathroom. So I stand up and I briskly make it to the bathroom. I open the door. I get in. Now the bathroom is all the way out, and I had my choice number one. I had to either step out and go close the door or continue my journey to the toilet. I continue my journey. I get to the seat cover and it breaks apart. So I try to go to the toilet paper. My mom said to put two-ply, and then it just let go. Is choice number two, germ protection or go now. My body knows I'm right here. It's about to take over. I have no option. And I go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I go through because of my stupid bladder quest. And as I sit there peeing, looking down, pretending I can't see the door is ajar, I start thinking about my husband. And all men in general, and how they just unzip, pull out, and pee. That's it. No contact with the urinal, no problem with the bathroom door, nothing at all. Just go. I had to blame my husband somehow. And I look at the toilet. Who invented the toilet? And for what? It had to be a man, and it was not for peeing. I heard. It was definitely not designed for me. As you walk out today, if you learn anything, is to believe in the power of the semi-voluntary muscle. For the ladies in the room, go pee every 2 to 3 hours. Just don't wait until the very end. Remember, the bathroom toilet was not designed for you. And for the men in the room, you lucky bastards.
If I had one more of these here scotch thingies, I would probably have just in that toilet. Did you all have a good time here tonight, huh? This is kind of like what it's like every frickin' month at Blue Toastmasters. I've been in that club since the day one, and we only meet once a month. And each time we meet is better than the next time, and we all look at each other and say, well, this can't get any goddamn better. And it does. Every single month it gets better. I don't know how it works. It don't make no frickin' sense to me, but it does. We just have a good old time. It's like having your own private comedy club. It really doesn't cost you anything unless you buy something to eat, because we eat there and we drink alcohol. And some people in our little group, they get kind of really fucked up. And then he gets up and gives a speech. Well, let me tell you something about tonight. This whole frickin' thing tonight would have never friggin' happened if it wasn't for one person. Carol Boom Boom, my left to do and backseat Come on up here, sweetheart. Okay, you guys, all you guys out there, who wouldn't want to bang this like a screen door in a hurricane? Come on, give me a break here. Well, listen, I have something for you. Right here. Some red roses for a blue lady. It's all yours, sweetheart. I'll just hold on these for you. I'll hang out here with you.
Did everybody have a great time tonight? Okay, so announcements that we're going to make while we are waiting for all the amazing judges to tally those votes. First, I want to give another round of applause to all of our contestants that took a risk this year. And participated in this event. Back in, I think it was, I don't know, February or March, when I heard that Toastmasters was not doing the fall conference, I said to our Toastmaster Blue Club, we have an amazing opportunity here to bring back a humorous speech competition like you see here tonight. We did this back in 2012. Is there anybody in the audience by a show of hands that came to the event back in 2012? Okay, a few of you. I see you guys over there. I see you. It is really hard to see up here, like everybody in the audience. Anyways, we had an opportunity to, because we are not having the fall conference anymore, which we always would have the fall humorous speech contest, I thought, oh my gosh, like, we probably are never going to see the fall humorous speech contest again, because in the spring, there's not going to be enough time with having double DTMs and all that. So let's bring this back. And so we enrolled our club. Let's bring it back, and you guys in the audience exceeded my expectations. My goal was to have 250 people exceeded. That's how many we had at the last event. And yesterday at 5 p.m. we had 380 people reserve tickets sold. I don't know if there's any extra of you. I can't see if there's people upstairs or not. Anyways, thank you so much for believing in this event and supporting it, because without all of you and all the contestants, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for that. There's a couple things in your program. In the middle of your program, we have a feedback form, and we really want to hear back from you. Is this an event that you want to see as an annual event? Did you like it? Yeah? Okay, so please give us feedback on this. Also, if you think you have what it takes, if you're funny out there, if you know somebody that's funny in your Toastmaster clubs and they want to participate, we want to hear from you. So please fill out these feedback forms. We're going to have a basket out in the lobby when you're leaving. If you can just fill these out, there's pencils on your table. Please fill them out. Leave them in the basket out there. If you are interested in auditioning for this event for next year, let us know, and we would love to hear from you. Also, on the back of your program is all the Blue Toastmasters meets once a month, the second Friday of each month, at the Stadium Club down in Chandler. All the dates are on the back of your program, so if you're interested in coming and checking us out, if you have one of those speeches that you're not able to give at your Toastmaster club, just because it might be on the cusp of being a little off-color, we encourage you to come check us out. We have a fun joke portion, so if you're not good at telling jokes and you want to enhance that skill, come visit. And then also, we're having an open house in November. We have we have a special guest, Sean Hoy. He is an improv specialist. If you have not seen him before, he is amazing. He teaches how to do improv, which you can incorporate that into your table topics or your speeches. We're having him come to our Toastmaster event, our open house for Blue Toastmasters on Friday, November 8th. So if you are interested, mark that on your feedback form too. Let us know. Space is limited, so we need to hear from you on that. And then two, how many have been to Blue's anniversary party? Really? That's it? All right, let me ask that question again. How many people have been to Blue's anniversary party? Okay, if you have not been to Blue's anniversary party, you do not want to miss this event. And especially if you're a Toastmaster, table topics, outrageous. Evaluations, outrageous. Speakers, I don't know. We always have a phrase in Blue Toastmasters, what you see in Blue Toastmasters stays in Blue Toastmasters. It's kind of like going to Vegas. So if you want to have an outrageous time and really fun, mark your calendar for March 13th, 2020, and make sure you come to the Blue Toastmaster anniversary party. It's our 9-year anniversary. We're super excited. We're almost at that 10-year mark. And who knew that we were gonna come along that way and all that. So did anybody else buy any raffle tickets? Okay, make sure you get your raffle tickets in here. And thank you to the Chandler Chamber of Commerce for letting me borrow this wonderful, uh-oh, we're leaking. Okay, we still have time, so I'm going to keep going here. So I talked about that. Okay, so it wasn't just me that put this event on. It took a lot of people. So I want to thank, obviously, my good friend Frankie here, my MC, my wonderful MC, Frankie Fortunato, aka El Vermondo. He is my partner in crime in Blue Toastmasters. He's my person that I call when I'm like freaking out over everything. Like, he's the one that calms me down. So thank you, Frankie. And then Kristen Vermondo, she's in the back with my ballot counters, counting all the votes and getting all the judges for tonight's contest. So thank you, Kristen, even though she's in the back. And I just want to acknowledge her. I put a little blurb on the back of your program. For those of you who are in Toastmasters, and this is a really big fucking deal, okay? Kristen just won the 2018-2019 Outstanding Toastmaster of the Year. It gives me goosebumps. That is not an easy task in Toastmasters. That is for the whole state of Arizona. And just a little plug for Blue, Kristen is a charter member of our club. So thank you, Kristen, for all your hard work on getting all the judges for tonight's event. We had 30 judges. We wanted to make sure that this is a really fair contest, so we're anticipating the winners. And I want to thank the Tempe Improv for providing us with this amazing venue. I am in love with it. When I knew we were so for those of you who don't know how this works, what we did is we started auditioning people at our Blue Toastmaster Club back in May. And anybody that is a Toastmaster is welcome to judge the competition. And it's a yes or no. We will encourage the contestants to move forward or not. We had several contestants that didn't move through the process. So if you are interested in just checking out our club and you want to participate, as long as you're a Toastmaster, your dues are paid, you can be a judge in the contest. And then on your feedback form, if you are interested in competing, we would love to have you come out because we want to make this an annual event. So thank you to the Tempe Improv. They've been fantastic. Make sure you take care of your servers. And I'm hoping that I see you all here next year.
Third place, Paul Pastore. Putting on his tutu and his fairy rings. Come on up here. Oh no, I don't believe this. This must have been somebody paid off the judges. Second place, another Goomba, Nick Corradino. You should have seen him back in the green room back there. I thought he was going to take a dump right on the floor. He was shaking like a tree in a hurricane, man. God damn.
Drum roll.
Okay, well, drum roll now. Oh no. I'm gonna have to go in the back room and jack off to this one. Paul Bonaparte! Blew the doors out, Paul.
I was so blown away by everybody that I am amazed and I'm honored, and thank you so much. That was a true story. My life story. Thank you, Carol, for everything. This was so fantastic, and I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you so much.
Okay, so please fill out those feedback forms. We really want to hear from you. Is there anything we can do different that make this event better? And we hope that we see you all next year. Yeah. And please come to Blue, audition. It's open to anybody. You don't have to be a Blue member to audition. We're doing the auditions May, June, July, August, and September. Unless there's more of you that want to audition, then we'll open it up and we'll figure it out. So thank you all for coming tonight. And here's your MC. And